Hey Optimancers, Chris here. I'm doing a quick reaction video. So basically, Nerd Immersion has released a YouTube video called Player Races Leaks from Monsters of the Multiverse. Monsters of the Multiverse is a new Dungeons & Dragons book that is scheduled for release on January 25th. But what has happened is somebody, obviously at Wizards of the Coast, or that had access to a book that somebody from Wizards of the Coast had, has taken some pictures of pages inside the book and then sent them to Nerd Immersion, which he has then presented on his channel. And we can actually get a lot of information based on what has been released here. So the first thing to note is that there are going to be 33 options for races for players. They call them fantastical races. And these are all re-releases. So we have Aarakocra, Azamar, Bugbear, Centaur, Changeling, Deep Gnomes, Duergar, Eladrin, Fairy, Furbolg, all four Genasi, the Githyanki, the Githzerai, Goblins, Goliath, Harengon, Hobgoblin, Kenku, Kobold, Lizardfolk, Minotaur, Orc, Satyr, Sea Elf, Shatterkai, Shifter, Tabaxi, Turtle, Triton, and Yuan-Ti. So yeah, no Player's Handbook races are here. This is not a surprise. I did not expect the Player's Handbook to be changed at all here. They are very committed that until they do the reprint in 2024, that you can play the game with just the three core books. The Orc, I notice, is changing again. The Orc has already had multiple changes. It will be changing again. There is also some notable exclusions from this list. I note that there is no Warforged, there is no Leonin, there is no Kalishtar, there is no Loxodon, there is no Simic Hybrid, and there is no Vidalkin. We are also not seeing reprints of most of the lineages. The Van Richten lineages aren't here, the Owlin's not here, but the Fairy and Harengon are here. My guess would be that that's because Harengon and Fairy were printed in Adventure Path, so they wanted to put those two in a source book to show that they are generically available. My guess is they'll be very similar to the printed versions that we already have. I wouldn't be surprised if they reword Rabbit Hop so that it incorporates some of the sage advice rulings they had to do, because there were lots of questions as to how it worked. I think that they might use clearer language, but I don't anticipate it to really change. Now, we didn't see a lot of the races in detail, but what was noted is that races that previously had sunlight sensitivity don't have it anymore. So basically, that's going to remove sunlight sensitivity from players for their characters unless they're playing Drow, because Drow are in the Player's Handbook, and as I said, Player's Handbook didn't get any treatment here. So sunlight sensitivity still does exist, but only through the Drow. The other thing I noted was there were a couple races that we saw, the Duergar and the Deep Gnome, and they both had 30-foot movement rates. So I'm guessing that 25-foot movement rates are basically gone unless you choose Player's Handbook races. Now, here's something that is going to get a lot of attention. Kobolds no longer are going to have pack tactics. Now, they do get some boosts. For example, they have a additional +1 ability score bonus. They no longer have sunlight sensitivity. The Grovel, Cower, and Beg ability seems to have been re-envisioned as Draconic Cry, and you can now do it multiple times, kind of the standard proficiency bonus per long rest mechanic. They're going to have a new feature called Kobold Legacy that allows them to choose from one of three possible features, and basically they can choose either a single skill proficiency, advantage on saves against the frightened condition, or a free cantrip. So what they've added here, pretty small stuff. I generally find that people who play kobolds don't really care about Grovel, Cower, and Beg. It gets used once in a while, but I definitely don't see it used very often. People who played kobolds played them for pack tactics, and now you're basically replacing that with some pretty small stuff. So some players, I'm sure, are not going to be happy with this change, including, no question, my friend who runs the YouTube channel Pack Tactics. As the name implies, that feature is why he loves playing kobolds. My guess is he'll be really unhappy at any table that doesn't let him play the Volos version. And on my Discord, he left this image right after the video release. Another thing we're going to see is all of these races now have, for ability score bonuses, nothing's even recommended for ability score bonuses for them anymore. They're going to follow kind of the standard rules that we're now doing for all new races and lineages, where you choose either a +2 in one ability score, +1 in another, or +1 in 3 ability scores of your choice. All of them are going to have the set common as a language plus 1 additional language. I did want to make a few predictions here. Now, I haven't seen anything that wasn't on the Nerd Immersion YouTube channel, so everything here I'm saying is conjecture, but I have some predictions. The first is there are some races I think will see boosts. We see through Kobold they're looking not just to change ability scores, they are actually changing features. I gotta think they're gonna add something to the Kenku. Kenku only got skill proficiencies before. I wouldn't be surprised to see, some kind of spell casting added to them. I'm going to note that since the Minotaur and the Centaur and the Shifter are here, these kinds of races are no longer going to be setting specific. They're going to be generic races and probably available in campaigns that use this book. Now, one surprise on this list is the turtle. I didn't expect to see the turtle here because the turtle, of course, wasn't released in a source book at all. There was an adventure path called Tomb of Annihilation, and there was kind of an add-on PDF available for purchase called the Turtle Package, I think it was called. That included stats for the turtle race, and that's the only capacity where turtle has ever been released. Yet it is on this list. So why do I think they put the turtle here and they didn't bother putting like Warforged here? Well, I predict it's because they want to change the turtle. Turtle has a feature called Natural Armor. I am betting that that is going to change. I bet that Turtle will not have the same feature for Natural Armor. I think it's going to end up looking a lot more like what the lizard folk get. So that is my prediction for Turtle. We'll see if I'm right when the book comes out. Otherwise, for the most part, I wouldn't expect huge changes here. I'm trying to think if anything really sticks out as stuff that has gotten a lot of attention in a negative way or an overly positive way, other than the stuff I've already touched on, and nothing comes to mind. So I guess we will see when the book comes out. I do think that any features that were previously like once per long rest or whatever, a lot of them are going to end up being changed to that proficiency bonus per long rest, or anything that was once per short rest is going to be proficiency bonus per long rest. Like with the Eladrin, with their face step, I would expect that to be the new mechanic. We'll see, but it seems to be, they're kind of following a formula, and I think they're going to go back and retroactively change some of these features to fit within that formula. Once the book comes out, which is in 2 weeks, I will be reviewing it in far more detail, but right now, yeah, other than what I've just told you, I don't have a lot more information than you do. So until then, I'm going to sit back, relax, and have some fun. D&D is for everyone. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon.